Hey Siri, turn on flashlight.
It's on.
Today, we'll be having a conversation about why I've decided to adopt a plant. Yes, a plant. This video is not only about me getting a plant. It's more about the decision that went into me adopting a form of life. You see, a plant, just like everything else in life, is a reminder of how fragile life can be. Sometimes life and sometimes death. A plant is also a reflection of the amount of affection that it gets. If you take care of your plant, it will be okay. But if you neglect it, it responds to that and eventually passes away. Understanding that there is a lot of work that goes into owning a plant can be quite challenging, and that's because we consider that the benefits do not necessarily outweigh the work that we put into raising that plant. 2020 has been a phenomenal year, for the lack of a better word. And one of the things that I have done is to reflect on myself as an individual and think on how I can be better. A better professional, a better person, a better creative, and a better human in general. And it all comes back full circle to one place that I want to develop on, which is commitment. Now, that's not to say that I don't make commitments. I just want to improve myself as a person to make better commitments. Recent studies have shown that people in relationships do not necessarily make the best commitments to themselves, and they consider it as a cost to benefit ratio when they interact with other people. This impacts how people view relationships, whether professional or personal, because both parties do not see commitments in the same way. For me, there are two things about commitment. One is making the commitment, and the second is keeping the commitment. Personally, I find that I'm okay with keeping my commitments, but not necessarily strong in making commitments. And there's a reason for that. I view the world in numbers and logic. And so every decision that I make is driven by a sense of strategy. And it has to make sense, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I understand that in some ways can be a hindrance to making commitments. The decision to get this plant was one that I thought I would use to develop myself. I have no experience whatsoever with plants. I've never owned a plant before, but I thought to myself that if I could commit to something outside of my comfort zone, it would trickle into every other aspect and ultimately make me a better person. This plant symbolizes growth if I successfully raise it, or failure if I do not. It is me challenging myself to being committed to something that I do not necessarily understand. Also, this plant, it's not just a thing. It's something that symbolizes my adventure into the world of creating content for the online space, be it YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Sometimes I understand that there will be struggles with commitments. And in times like that, I find that looking to sources that motivate us helps with getting a sense of new drive and energy to pursue our commitments. Which is why for me, fellow creatives like Cassius, Becky and Chris, other amazing creators will sort of act as a motivation and generate a drive for me to keep my commitment to making online contents. If there's one thing that I hope that you get from this conversation, it is the fact that we as humans have to be better. In everything we do, we have to make sure that we grow, just like the plant. We have to commit to ourselves to making the world a better place. If we decide to commit to making a change that will better our lives or that of the next person's, our world will be a better place. I hope that you also make a commitment to follow me on this process and watch me grow. This is not just going to be a one-step approach, but rather it will take time, just like the plant. I wish for you that everything will be perfectly balanced. I'll see you next time. Aha. Ugh. Let's go. Let's do this. Yep, that's it. We're YouTubers now. We're big time. We're in the big leagues now. We're the big dogs. What? You want to tell the people to subscribe? Check that script. So what the video is about. I understand that sometimes there's a plane. I'm sorry. I apologize. I live very close to the airport, so. Okay, I think it's gone now. I think it's gone. Yeah, it's gone.